Yes, guys, welcome back to SFeatleyTV. When we're here for another preview, it's Arsenal versus Leicester, kicking off tomorrow in the sponsored by Barclays anymore. English Premier League. That's a long time ago. That was. Chris from Leicester Till I Die. When it was the title winners from when it was last called the Barclays Premier League. Right, let's keep
Indeed,
covering.
indeed.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm very well. Thank you very much for having me on.
Right, so yeah, should we just go straight into the main question? Right, which is
The
probably what
elephant
everyone's
in the
got.
room.
Yeah, the elephant in the room. Yuri Tillemans.
Yes.
Right, this has been going on pretty much all summer. Surely, most other fans are probably pissed off by it by now. A bit like where we were with Sancho,
Yeah.
to go to
Yeah.
Man United. Um, the current situation is, well, it depends what you read. So Arsenal saying that it could be imminent. Then there's others saying that it might not happen at all. So, what's your whole opinion on the Silliman saga?
It's a game of poker, and
Mm,
it depends who is going to blink first. I mean, I know I've jokingly, I've got a hashtag Tillemans is ours there. That's just to wind up the Arsenal fans. But I mean, the thing is, he wants to go. Now,
mm,
it's really complicated, this one, because he's not like Riyad Mahrez. He
mm-hmm.
doesn't. He's not unhappy at Leicester, and he has actually come out and said, "If I have to stay another year at Leicester, I'll be happy to." But he does want European football. I believe that was Champions League. Now, Leicester last season, we had an iffy season, shall we say, but we complete disaster. But we got there, and Tielemans did not have the best of seasons because of where he was being asked to play. And suddenly, nobody's coming in for him apart from you, allegedly. Thing is, if you are trying to be clever and hanging on until the last minute to try and get him either for nothing or cheap, you could lose out, because we do not need to sell. We can keep him here, and we can say, right, the money we get from maybe getting into Europe, and he might be the difference between us getting into Europe and not, will make up for us losing him altogether. He may stay and sign an extra year's contract like Hamza just did, so we can get some money next season. But you just, I don't know what you do. If you £1,000,000, it'd be yours
Mm.
in a couple of days. What you're trying to do, I do not know. I really, really don't.
It's typical Arsenal. Let's save 5 million here. Let's save 2 million here. Let's save 2 or 3 million there.
Yeah. Well, Ant, your hair looks nice, by the way, mate.
Cheers. I've
Yeah.
literally just got out of a shower, which is what I'm like.
He doesn't like that thing though. His nose just peeks out over the top of the wall.
I won't put your hand
I know.
down.
I'm sorry. I try and make that as small as possible. So, yeah. Look, I mean, I did. Do you know what? The funny thing is this: if Arsenal actually finished top four and we'd have two defenders or a defense that cost it, this would be done by now. This would be done by now. He'd be walking. He'd be like, "Where do I sign?" Right?
He can only do that though if you make an offer.
That's the thing.
Yeah, but the thing is that we would have had the extra revenue, right? And also Champions League football to be able to offer him. And you wouldn't have to offer him so much because he's got Champions League football.
Yeah, but it would still be a case of what we would accept for him.
The thing is, you can offer him the world, you can offer him like millions. Until Arsenal put an offer on the table, like, what's the point? It's like he'll go either way. So it's like we've been saying, it might well be his priority to go to Arsenal, but until you put an offer on the table, he's a Leicester City player, and like we won't budge on our price tag. I don't know how much of this Chris has said, but like for us, hold on. Sorry, someone's calling me. I'll be back.
Ah, okay.
It's probably that Tillerman's agent said, "Shut up, we won't say anything."
Look, you know, one of the rumours is that there's no offer on there for him. There's going to come to a point where we're going to say we haven't got time to replace him. We are therefore not selling him because we're not going to set. You know, I think we've. It is a case of poker and who will blink first. We didn't blink with Harry Maguire. We didn't blink with Ben Chilwell. We didn't blink with Riyad Mahrez. And Riyad Mahrez went on strike and had mental issues and everything because we wouldn't let him leave, and we didn't blink. So we're not going to blink first. If you want him, get the money out, put it on the table, and make an offer for him, and then we will talk to you. Until you do that, I mean, 2 words I'm going to say to you: James Maddison.
Oh,
you know, all that pissing about last season. You know,
yeah.
The thing is, he would be happy to go to Arsenal. You know,
Yeah.
And if you just stop farting about and get on with it, because all you're doing is pissing Leicester off. Because, like I said, the nearer it gets to that 1st of September deadline, I think the less likely we are to sell him.
Well, the thing is, saying that as well, I don't know if you read Rob Tanner's article, recent one, saying that Leicester are very frustrated with the current situation because Thangadurai, who was our primary replacement for him, has now signed a new contract at PSV because no Premier League club had come in for him. So the longer Arsenal take for this, I think Arsenal are expecting us to lower our price. I think it will work in the opposite way.
Can I just make a point? Like, lower the price. It's £25 million. It's 25 fucking million. Like, it's not like I'm paying 100 million for fucking Mbappe. Like, it's 25 million. Right? You get a Premier League proven, Champions League proven as well. I think he's also been in the Champions League at some point. That top level Premier League midfielder that will fit straight next to Partey and won't need any time to adapt to the Premier League, adjust his environment or anything. Right? It's as usual, right? And it's kind of like what happened with when we tried to get rid of Aubameyang. Let's sit here and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and see if the other team will blink. Right? Well, Arsenal weren't very good at poker. It don't usually work with us. Not with this lot.
No, we are good with pokers. As I said earlier, with Harry Maguire, Riyad Mahrez, and Ben Chilwell.
Yeah, mate, we got Edu who, like, let's be honest, he pays 3.5 million for players that are for free. Like, that's real poker. That is.
We've even done it with Chowdhury, didn't we? He's got a year left on his contract, so he's gone out on loan for a season. But we've extended his contract by a year, so that if the option is taken up, they've got to pay him. They're not going to get him on a free.
I think the thing is, it's an option to buy with clauses as well. If Watford get promoted, they have to buy him. So it's like,
yeah. But what I'm saying is I say if Arsenal don't book their ideas up, and let's say we have a really good season and get back into Europe, and Tielemans could be the difference, I say, between that. You ain't going to have just Arsenal in the queue. You're then going to have a lot of other clubs going, actually, yeah, I remember that player.
Oh, yeah. And then we're definitely fucked.
And then suddenly, as big a name as Arsenal are, and they are, and as much as he wants to go to you, and they do, you could be bidding against some really big boys.
I think at the moment, you're only so attractive to Tielemans because you're the only club who's in for him. Like,
exactly.
I adamantly say this, but if any Champions League clubs were in for Tielemans, he would not even look at Arsenal. And that's what he said when he turned down the new deal at Leicester, is the fact that he only wants to go to a Champions League club. The only reason he's not going to go to a Champions League club is because his performance has dropped for various reasons last year, to a point that there's no Champions League clubs interested in him.
Well, yeah, he had because like I think the whole club just didn't have a good season last season. No teams are looking for him. Right? If Arsenal had Man City or Liverpool or any one of the top, I'll give you a good one, and this will really piss the fans off. Right? So I'll be like straight up their street, but then I'll be pissing them off all week. If we decided, just go back as well. If we decided we're gonna bring in Tillemans, and then Tottenham decided to join the race, for example, Tottenham are going to join us, the shout on this, right?
The thing
Tell
is,
you what, with Conte, with Champions League football, he'd take one look at Tottenham and go, "Yeah, Arsenal, go fuck yourselves."
Yeah, the thing is, like with you guys,
especially
you
the way
we're Champions League football, you don't have
the
an
thing, and
attractive
the way we're running, the way we're acting as well, right? Saying we're in, we're not, we're in, we're out, we're in, we're out, shake it all about. Right? He'd also get just pissed off and says, "Just no, fuck off, I've got a contact."
The problem I think the problem you've got is that you don't like make what you want of Mikel Arteta. I know you're not a fan of him and all of that, but he doesn't.
No, you didn't work that one out.
No, but he doesn't have that big draw of a name and like that pedigree of a manager like Conte or even Tuchel. Or like he doesn't have that pedigree as a manager. You don't really compete for major honours anymore, and you don't look like you're like.
Make me feel 10 times better, thanks.
You'd rather me come on here and be honest. So it's a step up from what Leicester is at the moment, but it's only a step up because no one else is interested.
Yeah, exactly. Manny, I don't know if he's there, but
it's a very nice roof.
I know it's a very nice roof. It's a very nice pattern.
Join you early.
If only have Arsenal had that sort of
pattern
in the transfer market. Yeah, how are you, Manny?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. And listen, I just want to say I'm sorry for not joining in earlier. My computer had some issues. I'm on my mobile, so I hope this will work for now. Chris, and good evening to you both.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, Manny, how do you see the situation?
You know something? Both of you, what you just said there about Tielemans possibly going towards Tottenham if they expressed interest in him. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, because they've already, snatched Zuma and Spence away from us, and maybe one or two others. But another issue is that given that Manchester United also need a functioning central midfielder, I wouldn't be surprised.
Sorry, Manny, it's really poor at the minute. It's not quite working. It's really slow. So just put it in the chat for now, mate, because it's really not working at the minute. Alright, sorry about that. Sorry, it wasn't working. I tried out, it didn't work. So, look, it's. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Arsenal will do anything to try and see if they can get the best deal and the best price. And I've got this, and like I've said, I've got this funny feeling. It's either going to be done very early in the last day, which will give Leicester time to find a backup or an alternative, or Arsenal will.
I don't think we've never, like, no matter the players, we've never sold them like on the last day, even when they've been in that last year of the contract. Because for us, we don't do, like, apart from Vestergaard, we don't do panic buys. and the only reason Vestergaard was brought in was because Fofana's leg was broken. For us, once it gets to that final day, there's more value in keeping him there for a year than wasting money on a signing that may or may not work, which will be a panic buy on the last day. But then you've got to obviously pay out of his contract if it doesn't work, compared to keeping Tielemans. Even if we get Conference League this year, which has got to be the aim, like the money we got from Conference League, I think overall was about 80 million getting to the semi-final. If you know, can you see what I mean? It's not like
I'm not be surprised if Leicester have already said this.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if we've set a deadline at all. I really wouldn't.
I'm not so surprised if you think you're going to do this on the last day, Arsenal. You got nothing coming. If it gets to the last. What I'm saying is, if it gets to the last day, my whole point is that Leicester will go, well, sorry, mate, you're too late. Right, we're keeping him, and then all of a sudden, right, everyone will just say, well, to be honest, it wasn't really right for us, but no way, we got Fabio Vieira. Yeah, it's perfectly good. Right, and that's exactly what we did last season.
From our point of view, if you come into him, even if it's early doors on the last day or even the day before, the club that we're going to go and try and buy a replacement they've got over a barrel. And Luke or whatever.
We ain't getting on a free. Leicester are not letting go on a free. They'll find some way to get rid of it, offload him for a certain price.
If he goes for a free, he's not going to Arsenal. He's going to a top club. Like, the thing is, like people, like
everyone
Arsenal
will be in free.
Arsenal fans saying, if we wait for a year and stuff. It's like I say, there's the only reason that Arsenal is a club that's heavily linked to him is because you're the only club showing interest. Because but if there's no transfer fee, trust me, but like there will be the pick of clubs for him to go to, and with the work that he's does, like
I think originally Tielemans said, I think it was somewhere along the line this summer, he said he really would if Barcelona, because I thought he was going to go abroad. I thought he was going to go to Barcelona, for example. But because Barcelona didn't want to show any interest, is probably why we're still interested. If Barcelona showed any interest, Tielemans would look at Arsenal. He wouldn't look at Arsenal at all.
It's
the thing. Arsenal seem to think
like Barcelona, though. It's clubs that it's like any Champions League club, like is a more attractive.
Yeah, but our fans seem to think we've got some sort of competition with this lot. They need to wake up and realise we don't.
No. The thing is, if you had. Like, say if you were in the Europa League, but you had a manager like Conte or a manager of that ilk, you would. But the fact you've got Arteta, who's like, I know
he's literally the best person, the best team on the planet to get anywhere. Like,
no, it's like I know there's a split opinion about Arteta, and I get that, but like the perception of Arteta compared to the likes of Conte, the likes of Guardiola, it's as soon as there's a better club interested, I would not be surprised if he's more interested going there than Arsenal.
Anyway, we're going to move on to the game itself because obviously, like, this is obviously a major distraction to obviously the whole game itself. Anyway, what I actually would ask is would Tielemans start telling anything about where he's staying or going?
No. Quite often in the bigger away games, Tielemans has been dropped to the bench when we'll play like well, we used to do it with Chowdhury and Ndidi. Obviously, Chowdhury's gone to Watford, so he probably will start. But just if he's not starting, doesn't necessarily mean he's going, because Brendan Rodgers quite often does throw a curveball of like leaving out a player that you might think should be started.
See, I think he will start because I think he's going to want to make a point. He's going to want Tielemans to go out, and like I said right at the start, Tielemans, he's happy at Leicester. He's not. He said he'll stay another season. It's not the end of the world for him, and I'd love him to go and start and score. Get a hat trick or something stupid like that against you. And this is what you could have had, guys. But no, I think he will start. And I think we'd be cutting our nose off. We're a better team with him in it, and we'd be cutting our nose off if we didn't start him.
No, I completely agree, Chris, to be fair. But what I was just saying is the fact that sometimes Brendan Rodgers doesn't start go with the obvious choices, which Tielemans is. Because we are a much better team in it for having Tielemans there. And Dewsbury Hall, by the way, who our tactical genius manager brought off last week. But I'm sure we'll get on to that later.
As you know, I like Brendan, but he does occasionally throw a curveball in, like you say.
Occasionally.
So he's still Brendan in.
Is he still playing what?
He's still Brendan in, like Chris.
Me? Yeah.
Me, absolutely not.
Oh, we made a signing. Sorry, I didn't hear that. I was listening to the fact that we made a signing on the telly. What did you say?
Saying, am I Brendan in?
Oh, I doubt it.
No, I haven't been since last November.
Yeah, we won't move on. We won't go on Arteta.
I'll still have him over Arteta any day of the week, though.
Yeah, mate. Look, there's Newcastle fans that they'd rather Eddie Howe.
Yeah, I'd rather Eddie Howe than Arteta.
Look, but there you go. You can ask any manager in the league. They'll go, "No, you're all right. We'll keep him. We'll keep our manager, thanks." They don't like their manager, but they'll keep their manager over Arteta.
I don't know what you mean to say.
You never know. You could play Never Walk Alone if you want to play Liverpool.
I'm trying to think. What would I take? I'll take Marco Silva over him. I'll take Marco Silva over Arteta.
Can I just make? I'll just make a point. Yes, I have watched the first 6 episodes. Right. If Brendan Rodgers played You Never Walk Alone for Leicester versus Liverpool, you'd be asking, what the fuck is he smoking?
Mate, I'm smoking that most times he opens his mouth. Do you hear his press conference? Like, blaming, I don't know if you heard this, Chris, talking about the Brentford game where he threw away the 2-goal leads. He blames a throw-in, but he doesn't blame the fact that he didn't make substitutions. It's like...
He blames the fact that the players were tired because it was so hot and he didn't make the substitutions. Yeah, but had he made that substitution, had Daka come on and scored within, say, 2 or 3 minutes of coming on, he'd have been a tactical genius.
But the thing is, there was no need to change it. We were in complete control of the game at that point. Brentford couldn't get a foot on the ball. What did he do? Take off a midfielder. Takes off a man in the midfield, so then we're overloaded in the midfield, and then obviously Brentford put an extra man in the midfield, and it's like you could see it happening a mile off as soon as it happened. And if you think I'm saying I'm a hindsight genius, watch my Matchday vlog. I literally called it. I was like, we've taken a man off in the midfield.
Fuck it, we're signing out on for Leicester. Signing out for Leicester.
I did a watch along, and I was incredulous at the substitution. I have Brendan Bellend show when I didn't agree with his substitution, but occasionally, sometimes they get that's the thing with the manager. They make a sub, he comes on, he scores, he's a fantastic tactical genius. Yeah. The thing is on Vestergaard against West Ham in the 92nd minute, we conceded a goal and he's a plonker.
I think that's the problem there. What you just said is fair. It's exactly the problem. He brought on a sub. Instead of...
No, I agree. 100%. I agree on the fact that it is. He got that game wrong. Totally agree with you on that. But it is the first game of the season.
You say that, but how many times? And I feel like we're going to take over Stephen's show here and turn this into a Brendan debate. But how many times?
I know. I'm like, fucking hell, this is a new one.
You can't do that after what I said about Arteta before we get.
Yeah, he said it. Look, I ain't coming on unless we're doing an Arteta. If we're doing an Arteta out debate, so here we go.
No, but how many times last year did we say, "Oh, it was just unlucky. Oh, it was just early in the season. It was just this, or it was just that." We missed out on Europe by 2 points. We're throwing away 2 points like as if it's nothing, and then like. It's the first game of the season. It's like there's got to be some accountability for what he's doing. He's on 10 million a year. Like,
mate, if you're moaning, we'll have him.
I would happily.
All I will say is, are all the Liverpool fans shouting "Klopp out"?
Well, Klopp's got credit in the bank and not a history.
Brendan's got credit in the bank.
Brendan could not live off an FA Cup from 2 years ago. Every bad decision he made.
What can Klopp live off then?
He won 2 trophies last year. He got to a Champions final. He
Last year.
for the last day of the season.
Last year.
Ladies, keep your hair on.
Oh, Chris! What do this today?
I mean, if you love Klopp that much, go and support Liverpool.
Mate, I'd rather drink bleach.
Anyway, right.
We agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah, since we've had that little debate, Credit King, I think I remember you from last season, don't I? Yeah. Promised Land. I thought the Promised Land was Champions League, mate. Where do we finish? Who got sent off against Spurs? Right? What happened, mate? What happened? We're guaranteed top 4. Come on, man. We're supposed to be challenging the league this season. What's happened, man? Tell me.
You were supposed to be champions this season, listening to all your
I know. Apparently, we're supposed to take over the world this season.
No, you're
Right? Oh, who did we give it to? We gave it to Conte, didn't we? Conte Spurs. Oh, shit. Look who's top of the league already. Tell you what, they're going to stay there this season. They're going to win it. Let's be honest. But let's get that straight. But I think they'll win something this season. I do think Spurs will win something this season. I'm not lying. I'm not being. I actually do think they'll win some sort of trophy, some sort of cup.
It depends. If they take the Carabao or FA Cup seriously, they can do. But Conte's got a record. I know he won the FA Cup, but I think he got further than he ever intended by playing reserves up until about the semi-final in that. But he's never seemed to be one that takes it massively seriously.
I bought it on eBay. It was half the price. Right, and my money didn't go to Cronky either. So there you go. Blame the guy who bought it before.
Sorry, no spot. I completely disagree with that. As good as you were to keep fighting until the end, and you got the points you deserved, we threw that away massively. You take a man off in the midfield in one of your best performers. You don't make you make one change, and it is throwing a game away. Up until the 65th minute, Brentford didn't have anything in that game. We'd hit the post twice, and we were all over them. Then that change completely swung the momentum of the game.
As I was saying, I'm a bit surprised.
In the second half as we did in the first.
Say that again.
Roger, that hasn't done. I'm a bit surprised there at Ten Hag were to move in on Telemans. I'm surprised. That's a surprise, actually. I'm surprised Man United looked at it.
I'm surprised. Well, Frankie de Jong's got to be at the point where he's going to get a restraining order against United. So he's surely looking at new targets eventually.
That old Chelsea, for fuck's sake. I don't know which.
United, unfortunately, have become is that they're trying to buy a player who so obviously doesn't even want to go there.
You know what you're buying him?
You know Di Maria a few years ago where he was crying out of Real Madrid saying, I don't want to go. Oh, have 400k a week. Oh, I want to come now.
Yeah, exactly.
He went a season later. Anyway, I think his only highlight in a United shirt was that chip against Schmeichel.
Yeah, is that the game they lost 5-3?
5-2.
Shit.
5-2, 5-3.
Yeah, I mean, how do you think Rodgers will play this one? And
I don't know. I really don't know.
Without trying to spark another debate off.
No, credit where it's due. Rodgers does do quite well in these bigger games. It's the lower teams that we struggle against a lot more. These bigger games, he does seem to have that trick of turning up. But what I expect is we'll go 3-4-1. 5-4-1, and really try and congest the midfield, make it impossible for you to play through the midfield of us, and then look to hit you on the break. But at the same time, just because I say we'll be hitting you on the break, don't expect us not to have a lot of the ball, because even when we're counter-attacking, and it can be infuriating at times, but tomorrow, because it's going to be about 38 degrees, I'll sort of I'll understand it a bit more. But you'll see a lot of possession in between Sionchu, Evans, and Fofana, which is what I think the back three will be. So I think it will be us sitting in deep, holding on to the ball a lot in our half, and then trying to counter attack at times.
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't have a Marty back in the team.
I don't know what Brendan was thinking putting him in at the start of the season.
I was winding up with that.
I do not want to take the bait, but I happily will.
You and me both. And I mean, I like Marty. He was my most improved player last season. I think from where he was at the Community Shield and he got booed when his name was announced to being probably well, he was sometimes the only fit defender we had. But I just did not get playing him on the left where in that position last week at all.
The thing is,
Hi, James.
The thing is with Amati, I still don't get the hype around him last year. Just because he was stuck in the team every week because we had no other fit centre back, he was still making mistake after mistake after mistake last season as well. It's just because everyone else around him was just equally as poor.
I mean, if I'm looking at this game,
he dragged everybody down to his level.
Of course he did.
Well, the thing is, people say he had a good season. We conceded on average 2 goals a game when he played. And that is an actual fact. Check the stats if you don't believe me.
Yeah, I won't argue with you.
For now.
For now. No time to check my stats. No, would you have Sionchu back in it?
In a heartbeat. Particularly in a back three. I think that'll you don't become a bad centre back overnight. I think his confidence is absolutely shot. And I think what happened at the Euros with him, so if you don't know, Stephen, he's like the poster boy of Turkish football, Sionchu.
Yeah.
And he was, they were like had high hopes for the Euros and all of that.
Oh, mate, that their Euros was appalling.
And it went really badly. But he was the one who took the brunt of the Turkish fans' backlash off it. So I think that got to him massively. Then the fact he got injured, and then when he got back, Wesley Fofana had broken into the team, so he couldn't just come straight back into the team. But I think with him it is a confidence issue more than anything. But you're not going to become there's still a very good centre back in there. He just needs to find that confidence again, in my opinion.
That's the thing. I mean, if I compare that from last season with Arsenal, obviously we all know that what happened to Saka after the Euros, and what I did. I mean, obviously watching the All for Nothing. It is all for nothing after all.
Isn't it just Arsenal nothing?
No, it's all for nothing. We did all that for nothing.
All for comedy. All for comedy.
Oh yeah, probably.
I still can't get over that You'll Never Walk Alone scene.
Oh, shut up, please. Do me a favour. If that is Brendan Rodgers, everyone's thinking, someone get him some slippers, get him an old cigar, right, and get him get him some Werthers, right, and he's having a fucking midlife crisis.
Don't disrespect Werthers. Werthers Original is where it's at. But if Brendan Rodgers was doing that, Cook would be defending him, calling him a tactical genius.
Oh, mate, but because I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking they don't play it during the game. If I'm one of the players, I'm like, what the fuck is he smoking?
They don't do it it's only before kickoff.
Yeah, they do it before kickoff. Surely he's played there, so surely he knows that. I mean, he's played in enough Merseyside derbies.
No, he didn't. He was on the bench for most of the times he went there. Let's be honest.
Well, I don't know. I didn't really care about his career when he was at Everton. I don't really care about his career when he was at Arsenal either. It only seems to be matter now because he's the manager. But look, I mean, the one thing I did like the fact that is from the Euros is that he registered what happened to Saka, and he needed some sort of support straight away from it. So I did like that sort of side of it. So I can see where Sionchu has not had the confidence from start of last season because of that. What's happened there? So, but if I'm looking at this, like Arsenal, for me, I'm quite confident we'll still go and get the victory. I think there will be periods in the game where Leicester will probably be on top as well. I don't think we'll completely dominate the game. We don't do a 9-minute performance, let's put it that way. So, I mean, I've said 2-0 or at least by 2 clear goals, and I think we'll win. But I'm not holding on that. But yeah, Chris, what are you thinking?
If you gave me a draw now, I'll probably take it, and that's not because you're a fantastic team, although you know.
Well, I thought you could be bantered by now.
We can't beat you. 32 games we played you in the Premier League. 5 times we've beaten you. Once at your place. There you go. There's some stats for you. So I just think you're that team. You're that team that we just can't. We've fucking won the Premier League. We only lost 3 games, and 2 of them were to you.
Yeah, I keep getting told that, but we beat Leicester home and away. So
yeah,
what?
Yeah, but we
won the Leicester Cup. Well done.
Team, but I'm going to go. I've gone for 1-1 with Tielemans to score a screamer. Around to the bench.
I think we already asked this question. I think we asked the question anyway. Do you reckon when Tielemans will play tomorrow? If he doesn't, does that mean he could be joining Arsenal?
Short answer, no. Long answer, if you want to hear us debate about it fully, scroll back about 15 minutes.
Yeah. It reminds me of when South African rugby coach forced his players to spend a in holes of listening to the anthems of England, Australia. Yeah, like I said, we then played that game against Liverpool, and what happened? Oh yeah, we got spanked 4-0. There you go. But and if you need a North London derby team talk, go and ask for Tokafa. I knew that thing was going to be embarrassing.
You know what I don't find even more, I'd feel even more embarrassed is not the fact that all of this is coming out, but then you've got fans absolutely lapping it up, saying, "Oh, look at the brilliant man management, look at all of this." And it's like, that's the side of it. I'm like, are we watching 2 different things here?
Mate, I'm telling you, like, I'm telling you, like, I would never have expected Arsene Wenger to be playing Man United songs before we go and try and beat them to win the title. Right? Because first of all, we'd have men in that team, so we wouldn't need to have an atmosphere, because we'd just turn up and beat them, right, if we actually wanted to win the game. Right? And 2, right, Arsene Wenger's too good of a manager, he doesn't need it. Right? But because these fans have seen nothing like that, they think that's the standard. They think that's the standard. Right? Well, it's not. I mean, for God's sake.
Chowdhury's starting for Watford, by the way.
That's literally what I was just looking at. I've got
Chowdhury's starting for Watford.
Yeah. I've got their notifications on now. Like, I don't like Watford, I really don't. But I half hope they get promoted just so we get for whatever fee it is from them. Because
and the 6 points.
Yeah, obviously, and the 6 points. That's the main thing. And they'll probably take points off Arsenal as well, because they seem to do well against Arsenal. But
oh, don't.
But the thing is, if they don't get promoted, we're stuck with Chowdhury again for another year.
Yeah. Tuchel will play Aubameyang to his strengths and not play him like. To be fair, we played him on the left anyway, right? Emery played him on the left with Lacazette in up front. Right? It's just Mikel decided to play him as a left wing back. So there you go. Yeah, look, and to be honest, the way they made the way the Aubameyang look in that fucking thing is disgusting. Right, there you go.
The thing is, it was always going to be a PR session to make those that are in power look good at Arsenal. Like, it's like they haven't included, you cancelling the North London derby. That's coincidentally not been included.
To be fair, like the first 3 games where they did show like where Arsenal were and how low Arsenal were at that point. But then it was probably just to use that to say, yeah, but look how low we are and look where we came from. Right? You know what I mean? So yeah, so but there you go. I mean, we're gonna move on to scoreline because I'm gonna be too much long on it. Sorry, I just got to quickly send this. There you go. Arsenal players by pants. Oh, yeah, probably. Right, Chris, what are you going for?
Same as I told you 5 minutes ago.
I forgot 5 minutes ago.
All right, I've changed my mind. I'm going to go 2-1 Leicester. I've gone 1-1.
No, he's flip-flopping it. Changed his mind on the over.
No, it was 1-1. But I thought because you asked me again, you wanted another scoreline off me. So I want to come back with something different.
That's the age catching up. He can't remember what he said 5 minutes ago.
I've been very kind. He didn't say that because it was your heart.
And it's all right. He's got his bus pass to prove it.
Carry on.
Come here and aid up, mate.
And what are you going to go for?
I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. Like, I don't really believe it, if I'm honest, but if you can't head into a game with some sort of hope, then what are we doing? What's the point? We might as well pack it in now.
Yeah, and we'll never predict a Leicester loss, will we?
Yeah. No.
And that might.
The biggest result for me tomorrow is away days are back, so happy days.
Yeah. 2-1 Arsenal is probably. What, you going to the game?
Yeah.
This is the Emirates is somewhere to go.
The bloody Emirates.
I'm absolutely disgusted. A pint of Carling is £6 at the Emirates.
Don't buy it.
Well, I'm not going to watch Leicester sober, am I? Brendan Rodgers is too. He puts me too much.
Mate, you can't eat. Yeah, and then they make sure. Yeah, then what's great is because you can't buy, like a see-through bottle of freaking like Stella or something like that, right? You'd have to fucking buy it in there.
What you got to remember is that
it's got to be a see-through bottle, otherwise I won't let it in.
They don't even sell that. It's just Carling. I'm absolutely fuming.
Yeah, the thing is, to remember is Ant never used to support Leicester until the chairman started giving away free beer.
You're making me sound like an alky. I mean, you're not wrong, but you don't need to say it.
Do you mind? This raises money for children with liver disease. Do you mind? Fuck me. What's going on with Leicester this season and why they're not spending any?
If you want to know what's going on with Leicester, go to Sky Sports and have a look at what Rob Dorset wrote. It's about. I did a whole show on it virtually, about a 20-minute long read, and it is the best thing that has been written about Leicester this transfer window.
And it's come from Sky as well. That's more surprising, but. The thing is, it does make me laugh that everyone seems to think we're broke and all of that. It's like we're far from it. We're one of the only clubs across Europe that haven't got any debt to our name.
Yeah, I mean, I said at the start before, I don't know if it was before we came live, when we came live, we can do. There's a few things we can do. We've got I think we've got about 26 players now. We can only register 25. So why go and buy players and then we can't register them? Or we're going to register them, not have players. We'll still have players on the book we can't register. We'll be like Barcelona, basically. Or we gamble on getting into the Champions League or the Europa League, whatever, and risk all the money on that and getting the players in, and end up doing what Leeds did. I'd seen a couple of seasons where we're sort of 8th, 9th, 10th maybe, and getting on the footing and getting into the position where we can then go ahead and maybe sign the better players.
That's where I do disagree on it. But what as well, I do agree with a lot of what you said, Chris. And it's like if we bring in players like gambling on the fact that we're getting to Europe, we'll end up being where Everton are, boxed into a corner with FFP, and like in an
even Leeds, like I say, getting relegated and what have you.
Yeah. But the thing is, I don't think we can just like sit and say stay mid-table, because these players will leave, players will go, and then if that's the case, and this isn't even as a bashing of Brendan Rodgers, then why are we paying a manager top wages with the objectives to get into Europe each year? Like, it's the return of investment. The return of investment for Brendan Rodgers' wages that he is taking, which is 10 million a year, which I don't know if I've mentioned already, is the 5th highest across Europe. But there has got to be that return of investment. And it's like Dan said, you can't just stand still in this league. You've got to, like, if you stand still, you're moving backwards. But the thing is, I think for us, standing still this season would be losing a few players, because I still see it as us going forward again this year, because we've got players like Dewsbury Hall breaking through. Like we had practically it's like picking names out of a hat last season for our team. Like, the injury crisis were absolutely ridiculous. So, and everyone goes on about how good a season West Ham had last year and how poor a season Leicester had. We finished 1 point behind them. Like, our starting 11, it can compete with just about anyone. Take away Man City and Liverpool from that, but it's our squad depth that lets us down.
But here's the thing with like the whole West Ham thing. Right, so people say still how good it was, right? If they had a worse season than they had the season before because of Europe, right? If they like didn't have Europe, or had to worry about that, and then Man United didn't have the season they had, right? I've said it before. Leicester didn't have the season they had, right? Arsenal would be 8th because we had exactly the same record. We had pretty much the same record we had the year before. But so like people said, like Danny saying about standing still in this league, we did stand still. It's just the other teams around just like moved around us while we stood still in our league pool. So, but look, I've said I'm quietly confident about it, and I'd say it would be a 2-0 for me. But knowing Arsenal, they can throw a surprise.
You've got a good record at the Emirates, saying that. I've just seen apparently, AA or whatever it is doing a TIFO tomorrow. Is that one right next to the away end?
What's that?
Is it Block AA?
Block AA.
Yeah, the Arsenal supporters group are doing a TIFO tomorrow.
A TIFO?
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to tag you in it on Twitter, mate?
Yeah. Tag us to it.
You know what I love about Arsenal, though? I did at the start of the season, I did a Google Maps check of all the teams and the clubs and where the grounds were. And like on Google, they always have like the little circle with a pointer at the bottom to say that's where something is. And there was one over the Emirates, saying like Emirates Stadium, and there was another one. And I thought, I wonder what that is. And I zoomed in, and you've got a fucking time capsule in the Emirates Stadium, and I thought, that's where you've kept your Premier Leagues. Yes.
Funny. Very funny.
To be fair, last time they competed for a major
honour. If you do a time capsule for when you won the league, you ain't going to probably win it in another 50 years.
No, is it that you have got a time capsule buried at the Emirates?
Yeah, that was from, I think, when we first moved into the stadium to see what we were back then.
Probably got all your hopes and dreams in it, let's be honest.
Yeah, I certainly got Arteta's. He's probably they'll probably dig it up and they'll put time capsule will probably dig itself back in, thinking, no, what the fuck? I was expecting to come out by someone decent, not Arteta. But there you go. If we're confident we can get 10th this season, Stephen's correct. Leicester might have a slow start, but they'll get into their stride. Arsenal end up struggling because of the Europe fact. Yeah, exactly.
Give it 10 games and Rodgers will be gone. We'll be in our stride. what? And I really want to be wrong about Rodgers. I really do. But
Are you sure about that?
I've been saying it since last November, and everything I've said regarding Rodgers has come into fruition so far. Which Chris will disagree with me on this. I know he will, but I hate being wrong about. Sorry, I hate being right about Rodgers because I really want him to succeed in the future.
Yeah.
Now and in the future at Leicester, but once you start losing the dressing room and once the fans starting to turn, it's very rare for it to be turned back around.
Yep. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it turns out tomorrow, and see if we should be banging on the Brandon out. Which one we should be banging on? Banging on the Arteta out or the Rodgers out? Well, no, we should always be banging on the Arteta out
tomorrow, and I'll still be saying Rodgers out. Like I'm not changing my opinion.
And you know, everybody has an opinion. Well, you know, there's 30,000 managers in that stadium every other week.
I thought you said there's only 40,000 freaking Leicester fans.
And still 39.5 more than Arsenal at the moment.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're all managers. We all have our different opinions. And that's what football's all about, you know. And like I say, you can go from, especially on these sort of platforms, you can love a guy, player 1 minute, you know, he scores an own goal the next, and the next week he gets a hat trick. You know, you can go up and down. It's the same with managers. Has he lost the dressing room? I don't necessarily think 100% he has, but Watford are about to score. No, they're not. Has he lost the fans?
Large portion.
Fans are very fickle. I mean, you know, would you have Puel back?
No, but at the same time, we've just finished in the same place as where Puel finished, and everyone was saying careful for what you wish for. We've had a huge amount of investment since then with a manager who's his target. This is what Top has said as well. He should be finishing, or his target should be to finish in Europe each year for the investment of the squad, and that was from his interview back in Belgium in the pre-season game. So,
yeah. But then there are 5 or 6 other clubs that are trying to get into those 2 positions as well.
Yeah, but they haven't smacked a bang average manager on 10 million a year. So,
but that's what he needed to come to us.
That's true. That's true. But saying that, but one thing that I am concerned about with Rodgers is that
that's the one.
Like the biggest thing that I'm concerned about is that he's trying to send messages to the board in the wrong way, because I still think that part of the reason he made one sub, which threw away the game against Brentford, was trying to show a message to the board. And it's like, I don't think that's the way to go about it, if I'm completely honest. And like,
I agree.
Like, you know, I don't know if you saw the pre-match press conference as well for the Arsenal game, where he was getting himself stuck to his bed sheets talking about their new signings. And it's like him saying how much they can improve a new squad. And it's like, well, we would have a bit more financial wriggle and financial movement if you hadn't gone against the scouts to sign Bertrand and Vestergaard. So it's like, it's one of those. But I am glad that we are waiting till Martin Glover's coming in before we do start making any like major signings, because that's another reason that we're waiting as well.
Which will be after the end of the transfer window.
It will, but it's frustrating. But I'll ask you this, Chris: would you rather sign a few players now and then be all right, but not particularly anything great, and they'll help us bits of this season, or would you rather next season have Martin Glover like working on recruitment throughout the year, who's a specialist in sort of the market that we shop in? I'm willing to wait the year. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, I said that to you, didn't I? About if we have to take a season just to sort of collect ourselves. I do not want to buy a player unless he can add something to the squad or he's better than what we've got. Otherwise, what's the point of buying them?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a very interesting window this year, and I think come early November, there's going to be a few managers looking over the shoulders because you've got the World Cup break, And I think a lot of chairmen will be looking at themselves thinking, right, I've got the World Cup break, so we've got 4 weeks now. If we want to replace the manager, we can do. And by the time the World Cup break is over, we're getting ready for the January transfer window. So we'll be able to have the full stretch of that. And I'm not saying that, we're going to get rid of Rodgers or whatever, but I think that transfer window as well is going to be completely off the scale because everybody's going to be looking at a player that's played 2 games for Peru and looked like he's the best player since Ronaldo, and nobody will be after him. I'll just take a boost to that, but
there you go. We'll see how that turns out. But anyway, we're gonna leave it there.
Sorry, we've pretty much turned this into a Brendan Rodgers in or out debate, haven't we?
Oh no,
it's revenge, mate. It's revenge. We've got back on Stephen and Luca for all those times.
Mate, the thing is, he's Arteta out as well, but he's 1 minute, another. So it's like he's saying he's very. He said to me earlier he's quietly confident, then he's saying 2-1. So you can't be that confident if you're saying 2-1. But there you go. Look, anyway, we're gonna leave it there. Make sure you hit the like, share, and subscribe. Chris, where can I find you?
At Leicester TID on Twitter and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube. Couldn't think then. And don't forget to use the hashtag Tielemans is ours.
Ant, where can I find you, mate?
So Ant's Leicester fan channel on YouTube or Ant_LCFC on Twitter. So yeah, home and away matchday vlogs, all of that kind of stuff is back this season.
Wicked. Make sure you stay tuned in as well. We'll be doing the watch along tomorrow. The prediction show will be that was supposed to be earlier. That will be a pre-record. So hopefully. So do apologise for that. There will be a show on the F1 channel in literally about 20 minutes. That'll be about an hour long. And then there's a match reaction tomorrow as well. So make sure you all check out that as well. Make sure you go and subscribe to these guys as well. And we will see you hopefully tomorrow for that watch along. It will be interesting. But until then, stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.